Aloha and welcome to another episode of Hawaii Farmers Series. I'm your host today, Justine Espiritu. Matthew Johnson is on probation. So in his place, I have a lovely guest, Pamela Boyar, who is with us. She is the Director of Operations with FarmLover's, as well as the Vice President of Hawaii Farmers Union United.
Actually, I'm the Development Director of FarmLover's Farmers Markets and the Oahu President of the Farmers Union United. But I just want to say one thing. Thank you for having me on the show. And I'm so proud of you. I've known you for a lot of years, and to see you do a show like this just makes my heart sing. So I'm very happy
Awesome.
for you.
I'm so excited to have you. So again, why we have this show, thank you so much, ThinkTech, for giving us this time slot. But we all know that the essential element of any food system is the farmers. But there's so many other important people and positions and partnerships that help make a dynamic and sustainable local food system. And so I think your roles, with the farmers markets as well as the farmers union, I think you fill in a lot of gaps for farmers. They're kind of expected to do a lot, not only produce the food that we all eat, some of the healthiest and freshest things that we can kind of purchase and consume, but the idea to try to market that as well and advocate for themselves in the ledge is, I think those are the things that fall off of their plate, and it's great to have so many people in our community that take that opportunity to step up, So thank you so much for what you do, and we're going to get a little bit of history about the farmers markets because I think you've really taken this concept and built something amazing out of it, and we'll also get into the policy element. But again, my mistake with your title, which is important to bring up because you, as my partner is missing, there's also someone important that's in your partner as well.
Annie Sweet is my business partner for FarmLover's Farmers Markets, and she is Director of Operations, and thank God, because she's so good at it, and her marketing is spectacular, and she's an incredible photographer, and she really packages us, so that helps the farmers make a better living.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Great, so why don't we start with, I'm really curious to see hear what the vision was for starting the farmers markets here and how that's kind of evolved,
Well, this is what I did before I came here. So there was no question when I moved here that was what I was going to do, was open up farmers markets. And I had a farmers market in Texas, and I came here on vacation 9 years ago, and I called my business partner and said, buy me out. I'm not coming back to Texas. I'm moving to Hawaii. And I took a year off, and I went around to the few farmers markets that were here. There was only KCC, the Waialua Co-op, Sunset Market up in Haleiwa, and the People's Farmers Markets. And that was it. It was there were not a lot. Mm-hmm. And in 2009, the Chamber of Commerce of the North Shore called us to open up a market in Haleiwa, and that's when we got our first break. It's always all about the lease with the farmers market, and they gave us a beautiful piece of land to do the market on. So that's how we started here with that. Mm-hmm. But I've been doing farmers markets for almost 20 years now.
Cool. Yeah, we'll get a little more into your history, but again, the evolution of that. So you started out with the Haleiwa Farmers Markets.
Yes.
From there, you started Hawaii Kai.
Yes.
Which was a million years ago. It feels
like
now.
We were in Kaiser High, and we'd like to be in communities where we feed the people. The tourist industry is very important also because it gives a good balance for the farmers markets. But for Annie and I, we're all about local food for local consumption and educating the local people. This is what we grow here, and let's use it, and how can you utilize it? Mm-hmm. So we went from Haleiwa to Hawaii Kai and then Ala Moana, which was a beautiful market before another high-rise went up. But, we were very grateful to GGP for having us all those. We were there for 3 years at Ala Moana. It was a great market. Mm-hmm. And now we're in Kakaako, which is just a booming place, and we're right in the middle of these planned communities, which are going to be bike riding, walking communities. They're trying to set up these communities in Cacao so that there's a movie theater there, Whole Foods is coming, we'll have our farmers market there, and this is what they're doing on the mainland. And it's very smart because you don't need to use your car, you can just walk. So we're happy to be there.
Yeah, and that's awesome. And kind of listing off all these places you guys have opened farmers market, it sounds like it's such a smooth and natural progression. But it's been a long history of finding a spot, maybe it doesn't work out for whatever reason, and you've moved things around, and now you have 5 super vibrant markets. So what we have now is the Haleiwa Farmers Market in Waimea,
Right.
Pearl Ridge,
Yes.
Kaka'ako, Kailua, and
That's it, we only have 4.
okay.
We
but
want,
that's-
we want a 5th one, but it hasn't happened yet. I've been looking for a year for a proper location. When we open up a market, we look at a lot of different things, and we want it to be successful because, opening day is always great, but then you have to build your customers. People have to get in the habit of shopping every week at the market. So we really take a lot of time before we open up a new market, but we want to open up another one or 2.
And I think you're doing that kind of legwork when we talk about educating consumers and getting them to change their lifestyle and habits. You guys do. I think some people wonder, like, oh, farmers market, that's super easy. Why do farmers even have to pay for a booth? But you guys are doing an amazing job of making that a routine activity for people, making it what they want to do on their 1 day off a week or 2 days off a week, making it part of their routine.
Yeah, and that's, I think, a good business operator, that we make everything look easy. People have no idea what goes on behind the scenes, how much we work. Annie and I work a lot. We are small business owners, and I'm very proud that we're 2 women in business. But the good thing about having your own business is you can work when you want to work. But I tend to overwork a lot, and Annie's always on the computer doing things. So we work very hard to make that business successful. And we take it to heart because we're dealing with people's livelihoods. And when Haleiwa closed down, 65 vendors lost 50% of their income. And for me, that was devastating. I feel very responsible for, we create these models and people come and they're making a living there. And if it disappears, I'm the one that feels responsible, even though maybe the universe wanted that to happen. But, in my heart, that's, I take that responsibility. So we take our work very, very seriously.
And I think you guys have been extremely resilient when those kind of obstacles are thrown at you. From Haleiwa, you're now located in Waimea, which is beautiful and amazing. And I know all your markets have been on all kinds of best farmers markets across the nation.
Yeah, Haleiwa just got one of the top 10 markets in the country by Food 52. And that's so, Waimea Valley is so spiritual. The mana there is incredible. And we feel very fortunate that Richard Pizzulo, who's the executive director there, asked us to come in there. And it's a very, very special market. So we're thrilled to be there.
Yeah, they all kind of have their different character.
They do.
Such.
And Pearl Ridge is such a great market. We love working with Pearl Ridge Center. And it's all local people. And that I adore, because that's really, for me, the focus. I want visitors to have a good experience when they come to our markets, which is why we set up, and for our local community too, at every market we have a cafe that seats about 70 people with live music, so people can meet their neighbors, bring their relatives, bring their visitors, come sit down, get some great breakfast, local Hawaiian coffee, listen to live music, and it's really fun.
Yeah, I think what's unique about your market, I think the Farm Bureau and the People's Open Market, they each have kind of their role too. KCC is a huge tourist destination.
Yes, it is.
The People's Open Market is kind of convenient. They have very quick, it's 1 hour, which is very convenient from the farmers to go one spot to one spot to one spot. The customers go there, they get what they want, and they're out. But your markets I just love it because it's so much about being a community.
Yeah.
People love to set up their booth and they know their neighbors. Like you said, there's music. And you guys also do great things like festivals on specialty crops.
Yeah. Well, we have, we just finished with our coffee festival at Cacao, and we had 5,000 people that came. At 7:30, I turned around in our big tent, and it was filled with people because everybody loves coffee. And we have the best coffee here in Hawaii. I don't like to drink any other coffee than that. And then we had a Cacao Festival in Kailua, and we started that in Haleiwa, I think 4 years ago. And it's just grown, and the whole industry, the cacao industry with, Matt and Dave with Madre Chocolate, and Dylan with Manoa Chocolate, and Derek, of course, with Wailu Estate. They're the growers, but they also make bars. The industry is just out of control right now. We don't have enough cacao growing here for the demand that's happening. And this is what's so great about Hawaii. We can have niche products that can go all over. And I'm so proud to say this chocolate's from Hawaii, this coffee's from Hawaii. Those are things that I think are value added, which gives the farmers a lot more money and just puts Hawaii on the map.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think not only are you giving farmers a venue then to sell as one revenue stream, but these kind of specialty festivals are really, you're making like a dent in those industries as well. You're really increasing the awareness here. And it's not just, okay, you have a couple of vendors, you're showing people, you're having these cooking demos, you share recipes, you have these contests that really builds that awareness.
We had a chili pepper festival in Pearl Ridge, and we bought a chili roaster from New Mexico because they're famous for hatch chilies. So we were roasting chilies, but this is an industry that hasn't really taken hold here. But this is an industry, chili peppers, Hawaiian chili peppers, or any of the chili peppers that we can grow here can be made into salsa, can be made into jam, that can be exported, that our visitors can come and buy. And we actually had a chili cook-off, and it was kind of funny, and I'm not going to mention who it was, but we had 2 meat chilies and 1 vegan, and the vegan actually won the chili cook-off contest.
To hear that.
So I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah, I love that. That kind of educational tool as well. People don't know what they're doing, and so they learn to kind of adapt what they think they like. Or we had Jennifer He and Michael Whalen of I Love Nalo.
I saw that. That was
kind
great.
of talking about that. People have their preconceptions about things. So.
And in that, like, we brought in salsa music. We had Rolando Sanchez. So we like to, for me, I like our markets to be a party, a celebration. I want people to come and celebrate life and celebrate the farmers, because I don't think people realize how hard it is to farm. And many years ago, I used to sell strawberries to chefs, and they were like $12 a box, and the chefs would go, "This is way too much." And I said, "You know what? You come out in the field, and you pick 4 boxes, and then you tell me $12 too much for a box, because your back's going to hurt, and you're going to go, I'm going to give you $20 a box." So I think people don't realize how hard farming is. But on the other hand, when a person is a farmer, they love what they're doing. There's a passion there. So you could say it's hard, but not really, because that's their love, and they're doing it because they love doing what they're doing. And that's how I feel about our business too. I don't feel it's like a business. It's a service to the island and to the community. It's not drudgery. It's fun. And
it's
exciting.
Fun. Yeah. And we all know this about farmers market. Like, this is the opportunity, the revenue stream for farmers where they can really interact with their customer. What I love about you and what you do, I think you not only set these things up, but you really cultivate connections between people. Just by nature, farmers markets gives farmers the opportunity to talk to their customers, to maybe have those discussions about, why is this so expensive? Like, what's the deal? And well, this is how we grow it. This is what it takes. This is what it means to me. And it also allows them to get immediate feedback from their customers. So it's just
Absolutely.
a great.
And even with all these rains, like their crops that are they've been destroyed with the rains. And so this is a perfect opportunity for a farmer to say, we got flooded out. I lost all my peppers. I lost all my tomatoes. They exploded from all the rain. Because I really feel like most people don't realize what it takes and what goes into growing one plant. And it takes a lot. It takes, nurturing the soil, the right sunshine, the right nutrients, everything before you harvest that product. And so this is an education for the public also.
Yeah.
When they get to meet a farmer, face to face and say, well, why does your lettuce have this on it? And you could say, well, there were bugs that came, or there was too much rain, or it was too hot, whatever it was, people can get a better understanding of what the farmer is dealing with.
Yes.
And they deal with a lot.
They do, definitely. And which is why it's great to have people that like you that take on these other roles to fill, so it kind of takes it off their plate. So we're going to take a quick break,
great.
and then we'll get right back to it. Okay, thank you.
Here's the deal. I'm Jay Fidel. I'm the host of Hawaii, the State of Clean Energy, which is the Energy Policy Forum's program on Wednesday. That's how we call Wednesday Energy Wednesday. We call it Energy Wednesday every Wednesday. Are you surprised? Okay, and we try to get guys like Jim Alberts here from Hawaiian Electric who can tell us what's really going on in energy. We want to be informed. It's so important. It's the most important initiative in our state. Clean energy is major, okay? And that's why we cover it on this show. That's the deal. What do you think, Sharon?
I think that's great. That's why we're here every Wednesday from 4 to 5, and we hope you all join us so we can hear people like Jim coming on our show and co-host Ray Starley from Hawaii Energy.
Okay, Jim, you've been here today. You've seen this. You heard what she said. What do you think?
I think it's a tremendous opportunity for people to come together and talk about the issues. Oftentimes, there isn't a good forum to bring these key issues out into the public, and this is a tremendous way to go about it. And the activity of this show is essential to keep talking about energy because, as you said, it's such an essential part of our lives that we need to pay attention to it, and we need to think about the future.
Okay, Ray, your turn.
Well, this is a special time in the history of Hawaii where we're making some pretty radical changes in the way we use energy and generate energy. And this show is the one place you can count on coming to every Wednesday and hearing something about the latest issues that are on the table, being discussed, that will affect us all going forward. So come join us, and if you have some ideas you want to share with us about energy, give us a call and let us know. We'll put you up here and let you talk for an hour. So come see us.
Thanks, Ray. Thanks, Sharon. Thanks, Jim. It's great to be, from ThinkTech's point of view, it's great to have this show. We love the show. It's our most important show. So come around and listen to us 4 to 5 on Wednesday. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Aloha.
Aloha.
Aloha, and welcome back to the Hawaii Farmers Series. I'm your solo host today, Justine Espiritu. Today's guest is Pamela Boyar from FarmLover's, as well as the Hawaii Farmers Union United. I want to remind you, if you have any questions for us, you can join us on Twitter. Tweet us at ThinkTech and I will definitely bring them up if you choose to send those. So we were just talking about the amazing farmers market enterprise that Pam and Annie have created. And so one thing I want to kind of ask you, we're talking, it's on everyone's radar about the rising age of your average farmer, but I think you, in particular, know a lot of young people that are involved with farming, that are excited about it and kind of building their own businesses around it. But if you want to kind of talk about what difference that has made that you've seen, young people versus the more traditional farms, if you have anything to.
I feel this is where the Farmers Union United, Hawaii Farmers Union United comes in. They are the thread that is going to string all these farmers together. And we're talking about regenerative farmers, regenerative agriculture. Farmers that are rebuilding the soil, and you know more about this. I'm not a farmer, but I hear say from all the farmers that I work with, we want to build the soil. When you have healthy soil, you have healthy crops. And these farmers are growing without chemicals, and they are blazing a new trail here, but it's not really new because the Hawaiians grew without chemicals.
Right.
But we all know around World War II, chemicals started coming into the scene. Mm-hmm. So what's so exciting right now is there are so many young farmers, and young to me is 20 to 45, that are starting to grow. A lot of them have nice chunks of land, and they're growing regenerative food. They're growing local food for local consumption. And the Farmers Union is doing everything to help them with methods of growing, Korean natural farming. We have a lot of different farmers on Oahu. They're raising pigs, they're raising chickens in the Korean natural farming way. No flies, no smells, happy animals, and this is important. I feel we're really lacking in animal husbandry on this island, and I'd like to see this happen, in the next 20 years, where we can grow more sheep, more chickens, goats, and pigs. I know cattle some, but I think the Big Island and some of the other islands maybe are better for cattle than here. But there's so many issues with mobile slaughterhouses and all those kind of things. So with these young farmers that are coming in, new things are happening. We're going to have the food safety certification program that's going to happen, FSMA, and this is going to be a federal law where everybody is going to have to be food safety certified. And so in order to do that, we're going to have to create hubs or co-ops. And so we now have Friends of Farms co-op. That's the first one that FarmLover's has been dealing with. And this is a group, I think there are 12 members now that are all growing. And when we can find the finances, I think we'll be able to create a hub like in Waimanalo and start and build a place where we can process the food in a food safety certified building. And this way we can keep up with what's going to be coming down the road, because this is coming down the road and we need to make all of our farmers aware of this.
Well, so then to kind of back up there a little bit, what is the Farmers Union role in that? Is the Farmers Union just kind of an entity organization that can help with the networking and bring people to the table to educate them? Do you guys host workshops, or what are you exactly facilitating? And I feel like it's kind of a new thing, or I mean, because you say like co-op and Friends with Farms, I don't really know of too many other co-ops. So how did that transition happen? Or if you can kind of talk about that idea of working collaboratively versus independently, and the Farmers Union kind of role in that.
Okay, so the National Farmers Union started in 1902, and the Farm Bureau started in 1908. The Farmers Union, which is not a union, it just has that name because in 1902, that's what people did. They were unions, but it is absolutely not a union, wanted to be able to represent the family farmer, whereas the Farm Bureau was more for big agriculture and I don't know what else, but mostly big agriculture. So the Farmers Union about 4 or 5 years ago came to Hawaii. And I was very excited to be involved in the beginning, just as a member. I wasn't on the board, or I didn't have any official title. And it's gone through its life here in 5 years. We've had a few different presidents. We're very stable now. Vince Mina is our state president, and he is a farmer. And most of our members are farmers, which is really exciting. We have about 700 members, and most of them are regenerative farmers. And it's just, it's a great organization. So we're about education, teaching people how to grow food in a regenerative way.
So you guys are actively involved in
Yes.
being like, hey, why don't you try this method, or look what these people are doing?
They are doing that a lot on the other islands because their presidents are farmers. Unfortunately, I'm not a farmer, so I haven't really been active in that way.
Okay.
So I'm sorry for Oahu, but
Apology accepted.
but I know there are a lot of other farmers that are doing things like Joe McGuinn, and people do come here. But the co-op is a new idea. It's an old idea that's a new idea here.
Yeah.
And I think it's a great idea because farmers are very busy. So our farmers markets we look at as distribution centers. So 11 farmers or 12 farmers can get together and maybe 2 of them come to the market, while the other 9 or 10 can be out there farming. And I think that's great. And as long as you all have your rules set up, which I think you do, it works really well. So the Farmers Union wants to help through legislative whatever's going to happen with the legislature, but somehow if the governor wants us to grow more food and be food sustainable, we're going to have to start getting these co-ops and food hubs on every single island. I don't know how that's going to look, but hopefully that we will be supported in the legislature to grow more food for local consumption.
And do you see farms that have been around for a long time kind of going along with that idea? Or I think our last guests, Shin and Neil Ho, they said they were still trying to get familiar with the idea of co-op, or like kind of how they felt about it. But for me, the farmers I know are kind of at a different level of this of the beginning and starting stage. So what I kind of see as a benefit is really having those shared best practices and building that kind of community where, again, I think when we're talking about a sustainable and vibrant local food system, I think it should be about collaboration rather than competition. And so it's really cool.
Yes.
To see that.
You know, Ho Farms is a big farm, so they can probably sustain themselves.
Without having to do that.
Right, like Kahuku Farm, they built their own food safety certified to process all their papayas. So they're probably in the position that they could take care of themselves. For young farmers, they don't have the finances to do that. Or maybe they don't have a lease that's 25 years on the land they're on. Mm-hmm. So if you don't have a 25-year lease, you can't get loans to do these things. So these guys, everybody's going to need help. Mm-hmm. Agriculture is changing very rapidly. I don't necessarily agree with what's happening, but we're not going to have any choice. So we need to educate our farmers on what they're going to need to do. The record keeping is going to have to be spot on. For me, this is all about big agriculture that grows thousands and thousands of acres that are trying to protect themselves in case somebody gets sick from a smaller farm, which may be 500 acres. Let's say if the spinach is bad, which I just heard some spinach was bad, please take it off. I don't know which company it was from, so I'm not going to mention. And it wasn't grown here. But they said, please don't eat that spinach. So farmers that have a lot of spinach in the field, nobody's going to want to buy spinach because they're, oh my God, I'm afraid, even if it didn't have anything to do with theirs.
Yeah, again, the perception and education.
Exactly. So this is all about big ag and not getting their crops harmed and being able to trace back to the farm, when people got sick or who they got sick from. Now, a lot of foodborne illness is from the processing. There's not too much, as far as I'm concerned, that comes straight from the farm. When you go to the farmer's market, the people are going to get sick. And there is the Tester Amendment, and I don't know how long that's going to hold up in the food safety amendments, but it's if you sell direct to your customer, if you live within 250 miles or 275, I can't remember what the other one is, but there are three things that the Tester Amendment can help a small farmer that's just selling direct. I think it's that you don't sell over $250,000 a year worth of produce.
Okay. Well, which kind of gives me the question when we talk about policy and ag policies, I'm curious what people need to be aware of is policies that favor either larger farms or smaller farms. That's where we kind of need to have a distinction of looking carefully at kind of the purpose of these policies. And I think it's, I'm really interested in how people kind of participate in democracy and participate in decision making, and it's overwhelming to kind of, figure out what is this really trying to say? What's really the angle this is? And so the Farmers Union also kind of distinguishes that or dissects it for farmers and kind of gives them this is what this is about. Because on top of all the other things farmers have to do, the idea of, kind of doing their research on policy and then, picking a policy that is good or bad and having the time to go out there and make their statement about it or voice their opinion is really hard. So is that something the Farmers Union kind of helps with as well?
Well, when legislature is when it's happening, the Farmers Union, Simon Russell is our ledge chair, and he comes over and he goes and talks to all the politicians. We had a few bills. Our most important thing is taking care of teaching the new farmers how to farm, like educating them so we can have that local food for local consumption. I know the hemp bill was one bill that we were supporting. There were a few bills that the Farmers Union, supports, and another one of them is getting composting places where people can come and pick up compost. So there's so much change happening right now, and we're very fortunate to have Scott Enright as our ag chair, because he's on top of everything and he's doing a great job, and his doors are always open, and he's really trying to pull Hawaii into this new phase. He was the chair of NASDA, which were all the ag chairs in the country, and he worked a lot with the FDA while he was chair in helping some of these policies, trickle down to us. But one of the things about Hawaii is most farms are 2 acres. We're so small,
what's
so the paperwork is going to become cumbersome. And I thought Neil Hall a long time ago about creating an app that would make
Yeah,
it really
he mentioned
easy,
that,
so hopefully he comes up with something
Yeah, I
that'll
mean,
make it a lot
technology-
easier, yeah.
I think we have a lot of folks, technology folks interested in farming that are trying to bridge that gap and
Yeah.
figure something out. So I mean, all that stuff you're kind of talking about, it just totally reiterates that, when we talk about we need to produce more local food and consume more local food, people think it's just easy, give farmers some land, get people to grow it, and there's just so much more involved, and there's so many more people involved.
Yeah.
So glad to have you on. We're going to take a quick break and get right back to it.
Okay.
Thanks.
Aloha! How you doing? It's me, Angus McTech, asking you to come join us on ThinkTech Hawaii Hibachi Talk. Join me and my 2 hosts, Gordo the Tech Czar and Andrew the Security Guy, every Friday from 12:45 till 13:45. See you on Fridays, and remember, let your wing gang free wherever you be.
How's it? I'm Damon,
I'm Joe.
and we're the Lola Brothers.
We are the Lola Brothers.
We are the Lola Brothers. Hey, join us each week where we'll have wacky animations and adventures, and you'll get to hang out with one of our amazing friends. We'll talk about music and what
Life
else?
in general.
Life in general. All right.
Current events.
Current events.
Technology.
You can tweet us at ThinkTechHI.
Tweet us. We enjoy
And
it.
every Thursdays at 5 o'clock.
Thursday.
Join us.
5.
Aloha and welcome back to the Hawaii Farmers Series. I'm your host, Justine Espiritu. Join us in this last segment by tweeting us any questions or comments at ThinkTechHi. Today's guest is Pamela Boyar, who is the Director of Development with FarmLover's, as well as the President of Hawaii Farmers Union United. Thank you, Pamela, for joining us.
Thank you.
Again, I've been
Glad
having
to be
a great time just kind of
know.
talking about all the different things you're
Yeah.
involved in, and I just quickly want to rehash that. Kind of my first introduction in ag and the farmers markets was you kind of encouraged me to get Ted Nakamura's produce
Yes.
into your market. So I was selling some of his awesome organic veggies from the North Shore at Hawaii Kai, as well as you let me sell these plant seedlings when I was part of Muse, which was a nonprofit, which is just another really great example of you kind of bringing other folks in the community into these markets to build this community around local food.
Well, part of the farmers markets is incubating small businesses. And that's what we love to do. We love to, young couples come to us or young people come to us and they have an idea. And we like to help them develop that idea. If the product's good, we'll put 100% behind it and give the people the space that, these young entrepreneurs, because I'm an entrepreneur and I want to do everything I can to encourage people to follow their passion. I didn't have anybody helping me when I first became an entrepreneur. I had to do it on my own. So I guess that's why I like to help, young people, and so they don't have to waste a lot of time because it takes a lot.
Yeah, and it's just great to have that support and someone
Yeah.
else there encouraging them, which is really cool for me to see that that's what you've used the farmers market for, which
Yeah.
when I think about it and kind of compare it to the other farmers markets, I just don't really see that happening. So is that something you kind of formulated based on your other experience managing farmer? Were you doing that same thing on the mainland, so you just brought that here? Or can you kind of compare a little bit your experience doing farmers markets on the mainland to what you've done here?
I think it's always been, that's the way that I've done it. But now I have Annie to help me, and so it's just so much fuller at this point, and I've also experienced a lot more in life. And, you know, through that, there's just so much more love to give. And that's important because, you know, we have a great business, but we don't run it for money. We run it because we love our business and we celebrate life. And when you come from a place like that, you have to have your business systems in place. But when you come from a place like that, it's so much different. And it's contagious, you know, and people want to be in joy. Life is hard enough. Let's have joy when we're doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
And, you know, at our markets, people are dancing in the aisles, including me, because it's a joyous place.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're so lucky that you and Annie have kind of put your talent and enthusiasm into local food and local agriculture. So how did that kind of interest start for you? I mean, that could have been in anything. You could have been having this like passion, enthusiasm for fashion or technology or something. Like, we're so lucky that it's ag. So can you kind of bring us back to how that interest
I think I was looking for God. I was looking for something.
That was not what I was expecting.
Well, I mean, you want to know how it really happened, and somebody shared truth with me about how food works in the body. And it was the first truth I had ever heard. And when I started eating healthier, which I was a raw fooder for 6 years, it seemed like a lot of my channels opened up, and what I was looking for soon came my way, which enables me to come from a different place in what I'm doing. But through my diet, I started meeting farmers. And that's how I got into it. I wanted to buy direct from the farmer. I wanted to know the quality of the food. I wanted the best food. And it just built into, I mean, do you want to hear my businesses? Because I've done a lot of stuff.
Definitely.
Well, in 1980, I had a juice business. It was a home juice delivery business in Beverly Hills. We delivered to all the movie stars there. We delivered to Cher, Don Henley, Johnny Rivers, Pat Boone, George Hamilton. I just saw him on TV last night. I went, oh yeah, I delivered to him too. All different people, because we wanted to bring, that was when I was married, we wanted to bring health to the world, you know, and to consciousness, and drinking juice is like one of the healthiest things you can do. And then from there, I became one of the first, well, I was the first organic forager in Los Angeles at the beginning of California cuisine. So I used to go to the farms, all the people that I had known that I was buying food from, I brought them down to people like Wolfgang Puck, Nancy Silverton, Roy had a restaurant in LA.
So you're bringing the farmers to the restaurants?
I was. I had a truck. I would drive up to, all the way up to Santa Barbara and back. I would load that truck up and, you know, talk with all the farmers, and it was a grand time. Grand time. And then at 5 o'clock, I would bring, you know, the produce down, and Wolfgang would meet me out in the parking lot, and people would be driving up in limousines, and he'd go, "You've got to try these strawberries, they're the best." And he would be giving people strawberries out the back of my truck. And so it was really great to, you know, bring fresh organic produce, because all the farmers in California were growing organically, to the doors of these chefs, and they really appreciated it. And it was really a great time. And then a bigger produce company bought me out. And then I went, I don't want to live in LA anymore. And that's when I moved to Austin, and I started working for Whole Foods. And I became their local grower and chef, liaison. Yeah, thank you. And I started my first farmers market in front of the Whole Food flagship store.
Wow.
And we had 13 farmers. And then I did a What's Cooking in the Park, which was farmers and chefs. It's a long time ago. This was in the early 90s. Nobody was doing that. Now everybody does farmers and chefs together. But, you know, my first one that I did was in 1990. I started my first market in Austin, and it got recognized 2 years in a row as one of the top markets in the country, and I got voted Farmers Market Manager of the Year by all my peers in the business in 2005. And it's just been a love affair. You know, it's a love affair with helping the farmers grow the food, because today is very different. In the olden days, people just grew and they brought the food to wherever they brought it to, and that was it. But now there's so much competition, and there's the internet, and there's marketing, and you have to be branded, and people expect a lot.
Yeah.
And people are used to shopping in Whole Foods, so when they come to the market, I want our market to look high end.
Yeah.
I want it to be clean. I want it to be crisp, so people feel comfortable that they're buying good, healthy, clean food there.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the progression of what I've done, and I'm sure I've done other things. I owned a restaurant. I can't even remember all the things, but it's all come to living in Hawaii, wanting to stay here and really help the farming community, all these young farmers. And I see in 8 years, because this has happened to me in all the places that I've lived, in 8 years, we're going to look a lot different. There's going to be a lot more food being grown here. And that's exciting to me, and I would like to be a part of that.
Yeah, that's awesome and amazing. I just love to hear everyone's kind of journey and progression. And so when you were growing up, what did you, just kind of random question, what did you think you'd be doing, or what did you dream about doing?
I didn't think I'd be working at all. I thought I'd marry some rich man, but that didn't happen.
Way better. Isn't it way better? I love when actually the path you take is way better than when you ever dreamed of.
That's what my mother told me. But you know what? My mother told me a lot of things would make me happy. That really didn't. And I found truly what's made me happy, which is meditation. And coming from that place is the most important thing, because you can share so much. God is just so vast. And to be able to share from something that's just not like this, but like this, is the most important thing. And it's contagious. Mm-hmm. It's really contagious.
Yeah. I think in, working with food specifically, when you talk about bringing the farmers and talking to the chefs, when you have something like food that's bringing people together, it's such a fun energy, and those people are happy when when you're working with a product that is sustaining people, that's good for them. It just feels so good to kind of
it's a great
be a
business.
part of that.
It's a great business.
Yeah, when you're in an industry that's all about community as well, and which is what I feel about when I'm at your markets. Yeah. And again, I mean, we talked about the co-op, but again, the Friends with Farm Co-op is exclusively right now at the Sunday Kailua Market. You've been...
We're waiting for you to come to our other markets.
Yeah, it'll take a little time. And again, that's what I love about, what you have kind of taken on, and you kind of talked about too, using these markets to kind of incubate small businesses and stuff. It's not just, hey, give us your money, here's your booth. You're really involved and want to cultivate that, and we're super grateful. And
thank you.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for you guys. I'm so excited that you're growing healthy food that I can eat.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so important to me. I do this for selfish reasons too, because I want to eat good food.
Right, definitely.
So,
but it's great when it's killing two birds with one stone. You want good food, so you're helping the producers kind of make it. So we have about 1 more minute.
Okay.
Do you want to share anything any festivals or?
I would like to share about Ho'opili, actually. We're about to lose our best ag land. We have 1,500 acres of ag land that a loon farm resides on right now. And we're about to lose it. And this is a travesty for Oahu, because they grow about 35% of our food. And all the infrastructure is there. So please contact your city council person and tell them, don't get rid of our best ag land. Contact the governor. Tell him, please don't get rid of our best ag land. This is so important. They grow 1 million pounds of melons a year. They grow green beans, all the onions you see, all those kind of foods, zucchini. No other place on this island can grow those foods. And, they're saying that they can put it over in Wahiwa, but we cannot grow those foods that are growing at Ho'opili in Wahiwa. And I'm sure we can grow certain things in Wahiwa, but not those. It's our best ag land. Paul Brubaker said it's some of the best ag land in the world. And I want people to be aware, that we can't lose this land. And it's in the Land Use Commission and the Supreme Court, so hopefully they will see how important this ag land is to us.
So where can people go to kind of learn more information about that?
Ho'opili.com. There's going to be a sign waving tomorrow out in front of Walmart in Kapolei if you want to come at 2:30, just to make people aware, because I think a lot of people on Oahu are not even aware that we're about to lose this. And like I said, it's a travesty that we're going to lose this land. We shouldn't lose it, especially if the governor wants us to, double our food security by 2020. I don't see how that can happen if we lose this land. So,
Okay,
I'll
awesome.
see what happens.
Thanks for sharing that.
Thank you.
Thanks again for everything that you do and all
Yes.
the multiple
Thank
hats
you.
you wear and the support you give, not only the farmers, but just local food and our food system in general.
Thank you.
So thanks so much for
Thank you.
joining us. And we will be back next Thursday. Thank you so much.